Is it too old, too small, or too outdated? The internet is very divided about the Freedom of the Seas and its sister ships Independence and Liberty. Over the last year, we sailed on 2 cruises on Freedom and 2 on Independence. And we also sailed on both Oasis and Icon Class ships, so we have a really good first-hand experience to compare them. And the answer is, it's not one size fits all. If you're wondering whether Freedom Class is still good to go on this year, I will go over 8 key points to help you decide if these older ships are a hidden gem you should look into or a cruise you'd rather skip. And if you've sailed on Freedom Class ships this year, leave a comment below and let me know what your experience was. When it comes to the condition of Freedom Class ships, they are surprisingly well maintained. You might expect older ships to look worn out, but Royal Caribbean does a solid job of keeping these vessels in good shape. Freedom underwent a $116 million refurbishment in March 2020, so it's the freshest one of this class. Independence was refurbished in April 2018 and Liberty in 2016, so you don't have to worry about 20-year-old carpets or peeling paint. Cabins are comfortable, providing a nice balance of size and amenities. On our recent cruises, we've stayed in the balcony cabins, but we were able to look into the interior and ocean view rooms, and they were all clean and cozy. Plus, the crew is very diligent about cleanliness and upkeep, so we did not have any issues. However, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Some public areas do show some signs of aging. You might notice some wear and tear on the furniture or a bit of dated decor here and there. One of the standout features of Freedom Class ships versus the larger Oasis and Icon classes is their stronger sense of community. These ships have a more intimate atmosphere that makes it easier to meet and socialize with fellow passengers. We often meet people over dinner and then run into familiar places at various events, which is a lot harder to experience on larger ships. The smaller size of the ship also means it's less overwhelming, making it easier to get to know the layout and the crew. And when I say smaller, it's only in comparison to Oasis and Icon Class. It is still a big ship. On the flip side, some might find that the ship is too small if they're used to these vast spaces of larger ships. The more compact environment means that there's less room for the large-scale events and activities. You might also feel that the ship lacks that wow factor that comes with these newest ships. Freedom Class ships have a lot to offer when it comes to entertainment and activities. You'll find a good variety of shows and events, from Broadway-style performances to live music and comedy acts. One of the best parts is that these activities are easily accessible without needing to travel long distances. Everything feels more within reach. Another big plus is that you don't need to stress about reservations for shows. You can decide on the fly if you want to go catch a show or join an activity. And if you are going on a 3 to 4 day cruise, you may not even be able to do all the activities that are on the larger ship. However, if you are a fan of endless entertainment options, you might find the Freedom Class is a bit lacking compared to the Oasis or Icon Class. This might mean fewer choices for evening plans and daytime activities. While the entertainment on Freedom Class ships is enjoyable, it doesn't quite match the sheer volume and variety found on larger ships. Since Royal Caribbean uses the same menu across their whole fleet, you can expect to find the same dishes on these ships as the newest ones. As with any restaurant, the actual meal taste and quality is going to largely depend on the person, the cook, preparing your meal, and taste is very subjective, so I won't discuss it here. But to compare the dining experience, the smaller size ship means fewer passengers, so you may find it easier to get to know your dining room staff, which makes your dining somewhat nicer. You still have a good range of options, from the main dining room, Windjammer, Sorrento's, to all the staple specialty restaurants like Chops, Giovanni's, and Izumi. The biggest advantage to Freedom Class ships is that it's much easier to get good seating times in the main dining room and book reservations for specialty dining at the last minute. On Oasis Class, You can get decent dinner times if you reserve them as soon as you get on board, and on our Icon cruise, all best dinner times were booked up about a month before we sailed. So this gives you more freedom to enjoy your vacation without sticking to a strict schedule that you have to prepare far in advance. On the flip side, if you're all about specialty dining, you might find the dining option on Freedom Class is a bit limited. While the food quality is great, there's simply less choices. Notably missing are many people's favorite like Hooked Seafood, Sabor Mexican Grill, Wonderland, and 150 Central Park. Those are all wonderful restaurants and we thoroughly enjoy every one of them. Freedom Class ships have a lot of amenities. You've got your pools, spas, fitness centers, and sport courts, which provide plenty of options for staying active or just lounging around. They have fun features like the flow rider and the rock climbing wall. There's no shortage of bars and lounges to relax in, and some fantastic quiet spots to get away from the crowds. However, if you're someone who thrives on endless options and variety of amenities, notably missing are the neighborhoods like the Central Park or the Boardwalk on Oasis Class or the Aquadome and Surfside on Icon Class. Each of these neighborhoods provides a unique immersive experience so you don't feel like you're on the same ship. Freedom Class size makes it easier to move from one end of the ship to the other without feeling like you're running a marathon. This factor can be especially convenient for families with young children or older adults who might find larger ships overwhelming because of mobility issues. If you go to a show and forget something in the cabin, it only takes a few minutes to go run back and get it. On the flip side, the smaller size also means that there are fewer accessible cabins compared to larger ships. If you need specific accommodations, it might be a bit harder to find a cabin that meets your needs. Additionally, because the ship is older, you may find more congestion around elevators and hallways during peak hours. So this could pose a problem for those who rely on wheelchairs or scooters, and Icon Class definitely solved that problem with their destination elevators. I'll link to my video about the biggest improvements on Icon Class in the description, and that was an amazing thing that they did to help people with mobility. Freedom Class usually attracts a pretty diverse crowd, from families to older adults to solo travelers, you name it. And this mix makes it for a lively atmosphere where you can meet people from any walks of life. Plus, the lower prices mean more cruisers can hop on board, adding to the variety of experiences. Whether you're looking to make new friends or enjoy people watching, there's always something going on. On the flip side, those lower fares can bring in a rowdier party crowd, especially on those 3-day weekend cruises during spring breaks and the summer. And if you're looking for that quiet, relaxing vacation and don't care about having too many ship activities, you may want to look even to smaller ships like Radiance or Vision Class. When it comes to value for money, Freedom Class ships are usually more affordable than the larger class ships for the same itineraries and numbers of nights, so they're a great choice if you're on a budget. To give an example, I just priced some cruise fares for the same week for 4-night Bahamas cruise, and here are starting fares per person. So you can see how the prices increase with each class of the ship. Despite the lower price, you still get a solid cruise experience with good amenities and services. It includes all your meals, entertainment, and activities, and you still end up in the same ports most of the times. So these ships often make cruising a lot cheaper than the similar land-based vacation by the time you factor in everything that's included. On the flip side, if you like to use the cruise ship itself as the destination and want more variety of experiences on board, then you may find that the additional price of larger ships that include all those extras help you avoid going to ports and spend more money on excursions or beach resorts. Whichever class ship you decide to go on, check out this playlist of cruising tips to help you save money, avoid mistakes, and plan a great vacation.